Hi, it's Richard at Gem Remaps. This is a quick video demonstrating how we're going to get power supply from a Milwaukee battery. So, it's a MIL 18 APS. There. One of those. Don't know why to connect it. And here we want one of these, which I'll tag a link in the description. That's going to go into your Autotuner device. This goes onto a Milwaukee battery. On-off switch there. It's 13.1 volts. You can turn it down all the way down to 4 volts, and then back up to 13 volts. Just leave it there and you just turn it on and off when you want, and that's a great way to power the Autotuner up. So we just connect these wires to these wires. Yeah, the easy way of doing that. It's like this. Strip the wires off. Like that, and these are already paired off. You could do this like that, and this there like that. You could tape this up if you wanted to tape it up like that. One important thing to note is what the center pin is. I'm going to put a voltage measurement here. Turn it on. I want the outside to be earth and the inside to be live. 13. As we turn it down, you can see it's same on the screen roughly. I'll turn it back up to 13s. If it was wrong, put the earth in the centre, and that, you look at that little line there. Yeah, so you know that it's like that. So that's that done. You could just use it like that if you wanted to. Turn that off. The other way to tell if your wires are any good is to set this to ohms. Put a wire in the centre, so when you join them together, you get a 0 ohm reading. The light off it there. Put that down the centre. So we know the centre is live. So that's good. So we know that. The way of doing it is put some heat shrink on, like this. And now like that. And we can just solder these wires up. I don't know how much you can see here. heat shrink down like that. Just like that. There we go. Nice and neat, a bit neater than that. But we're going to do one better than that. We are going to pull the screws out. I've already cut a line down there with a Stanley knife, slice straight down there. We'll get this sucker opened up. The main reason for using this tool is for mobile use. We use them when we're out in the van. It's just a good way of powering up the Autotuner to do bench work when you're mobile and you don't necessarily have a 240 volt plug to plug into. You can just run it perfectly off a Milwaukee battery. You can get them for DeWalt and Makita as well. We just happen to run Milwaukee here. So we'll just get these wires stripped off and we're going to solder it directly to the board inside. It's just going to make for a really neat job. This is just overkill, you don't need to do it, but if you're doing something you may as well do it right. One battery charge will read and write literally hundreds of ECUs. You just don't need to charge the battery. We go months and months between charging batteries. The 2.5mm barrel connector is the same connector used in Kess 3, Flex and Autotuner, so you only need the one connector to use it on all tools. Obviously I'm just going to desolder the wires where they're going to the board, making a note of, I've done the wrong ones there, wrong side. Need to make a note of the positive and the negative, just get them desoldered, removed from the board, and then we can wire in the wires into it. And it just makes for a nice job. It's particularly useful even in a workshop environment when pinning out an ECU in situ. You don't have to drag an extension cable over to the car. You can just pin the ECU out and power the tool up directly on the vehicle. It just makes it really neat. The solder's actually closed the holes up here, so I'm just going to hold the soldering iron on the back side and then poke the wire through, and it'll melt it and be able to push it through like that. And then we'll do the negative side. My hand's blocking the camera here. That's both of them in like that. I'll just bend them over so they're not going to pull out. Add a little bit more solder on there for good measure. And then I'm going to cut the excess wire off the top of them just to make it a little bit neater. Just like that. Then you have to try and figure out how to get the thing back together again. There's a fuse there, look, so if anything shorts out it's going to blow that fuse first, which is nice. Now the cable's a little bit too fat to fit through that hole, so we're going to need to grind this out. You could use a grinder, a file, some sandpaper wrapped around a screwdriver, anything just to make it a little bit bigger. We're using a little die grinder here. Okay, so that's done. We now just need to add a little bit of strain relief to the cable so that it's not going to get pulled out from the unit and, you know, rip it out of the board. So a simple solution is to just attach a cable tie to the cable itself. Make sure it's on there quite tight. And then that will just stop it pulling out and offer some strain relief, just like that. Okay, let's continue trying to do this jigsaw puzzle. This is the first time I'm putting one of these together. I actually have a slightly older design what we use, but I've had quite a few people asking about, you know, how to use one of these, and don't necessarily quite understand what I mean when I say it, so I thought I'd just do a quick video showing you what I mean and just connect the wires up. I know it's super simple, but it's not simple unless you know. And that's it. Then we'll just throw the screws back together. That's obviously not going to come out of there. That's it all built up now. As you can see, it's quite a nice, neat, tidy unit when done like that. We'll plug it on the battery, turn it on, and we will check the polarity on it. Turn the voltage up to 13 on it, and we want the centre pin to be live and the outside to be negative and not see the little minus sign. And that's it. I hope you've learnt something, and thank you very much for watching.